Believe we're live. I think we're good. If you guys are watching live, to I would love to have you say hello. I would love it so much. Um, I would love it if you would say hi, tell us where you're tuning in from, and what you're most excited for this class. This is the class on shoulds, and I know it's been a hot minute since we've done a Free Friday class. Um, my name is Robin Whitworth. Hey, Christy. And I am the founder of the Elevated Mother brand, the Elevated Mother Collective, the Elevated Mother Experience Program. Um, just a little tidbit about that. Hey, Diane. Hey, Christy. I have been coaching moms since 2013, and it has been quite the ride. But in 2018, between 2017 and 2019, a lot of things happened to me physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. And I was really pondering on what I was doing. I had built two successful businesses at that point. I've always been entrepreneurial, just sharing a little bit of my story. Hey, Brittany. And I sat with, I'm like, look, I have grown so much as a person. There's got to be like more to this growth, more that can just help me just be on the steady path of growth instead of so much of this and not reaching my goals. Feel like I was trying to reach goals that were the same for years. Like I just wanted to earn this much money. I wanted to maybe have this physical goal. Maybe I wanted to feel this way emotionally or spiritually. And um, I decided to hire a coach in 2019 for the first time ever. Like, four figures, just like that was a big deal for me. Um, and I learned so much and I grew so much. And I saw the value of community, of being in a community of people that were doing the same thing, had similar values, were normalizing what I was talking about. Like, yeah, moms can do this, and yeah, we can do this, and yeah, $20,000 a month is normal. Like, let's talk about this. It was a business goal that I had that I really wanted to conquer. I really wanted this goal to happen for me. And it started and it was wonderful. Um, and then I looked at my mentor that I had in 2014. I hadn't hired her. It was kind of like someone that came with the opportunity. Hey, Missy. And I was like, the things I'm learning from this lady on the mental and spiritual, like these are really similar. And then what this other coach had taught me, like this was really similar. And I'm like, there's a process to this growth that I'm reaching goals in these certain areas. So I started mapping them. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to coach business now. I want moms from home to grow businesses. And so I created this beautiful program, all the bells and whistles. And I started coaching and I found out, I'm like, it's the same thing. It's not the product that's helping these people succeed. It's not my process. It's the mindset. It's their belief system. It is the thoughts on which they run that are helping them be successful or not. And so I really was like, okay, that was fun. And I had great clients and it was fun, but I shut it down. And I was like, I'm going to map that process. What is the mindset? What are the beliefs? What's going on here? And then as I started mapping it, I was like, oh, this is actually a lot of the people that chose to work with me were Christian. And they knew I was Christian. And I'm like, a lot of these mindsets actually stem from flawed ideas about Christianity. And I'm like, all this mindset stuff, all these books that are coming out, ladies, like, we're going to get to the shoulds, I promise. But like, I want you to understand this journey that I've been on of elevating my own consciousness, of witnessing the light of Christ in my own life, the power that I have, and putting it into a workbook. Like, what was that process that I went through to regain my sense of choice and accountability and my agency over my life? And I mapped it out. And then I was like, I think other people could do this. And it doesn't have to take them years to figure it out. And I started using this process for my own goals, and I started achieving goal after goal after goal. I started having mindset shift after mindset shift. My faith and testimony has grown exponentially. And it's like, I put it out in the world, and there was people that are like, we want this. We want these outcomes. We want abundance all the time. Let's understand this. And thereby we have the Elevated Mother Experience program. And it's been so fun to gather people together that have the same drive, the same mindset of like, yeah, yes, I want more. I believe in abundance for everybody. And so this topic today is kind of, I mean, I have my own Robin's spin on how to get over the shoulds in your life. Stop feeling like I should have done this different. I should be this way. I should, even language like I'm supposed to. I want to know what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm supposed to do something, right? Hey, Megan. So happy to have you guys all here. This is so fun. Please use the chat. If you have questions, comments, like put them in the chat. Have conversations on the side. I'll keep teaching. It'll be great. But what I've come down to, and I want to lay this out at the beginning so you can write some notes and go do some scripture study after this. Because as I was studying my own process of the shoulds and what I had taught my daughter, if you read my post kind of leading into this class, my daughter had come to me and was like, Mom, the church, Christianity as a whole tells us that we should be praying every day and studying our scriptures every day, and we should ponder every day, and I should journal every day, and I should be doing all these little things daily that add up to a big thing of peace and happiness. And she's like, but when I try to do all the things, I'm stressed out. I constantly feel like I'm overwhelmed and I'll never be enough and I can't do it enough. Anybody else? This is my 19-year-old. Anybody else in your life ever felt like there's so much you should do that it's like, if I actually did everything every day, it would take my whole day? Tell me, am I speaking to the right crowd here? Tell me in the chat if you're like, yes, I have felt this. I know this. Give us a thumbs up if you can't type whatever it is. Have you ever been given a list? Felt like there was a checkbox of things to do? Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, then you guys are in the right spot. You should be very excited. So one of the first things I want you to know is that in Christian culture, there is a flawed idea around the idea of the sovereignty of God. God is all powerful, thereby, no matter what I do, God's just going to do whatever. Have you guys ever thought about that? That if I believe that God is all powerful, that he's in control, that he actually causes things to happen that cause me pain, that God actually causes like tornadoes and earthquakes and bad things, that God is in control of the good things, this idea messes with his doctrine of agency. And I say it's an idea because it's not doctrine. Sit with that for a minute. Many Christian women fall victim to the idea that there even is shoulds because of sometimes a lifelong idea that there's this all-powerful God that's in control of everything. And it's like, why would I try so hard to do something or make a choice when it's like God's going to do whatever? It's hard to be really intimate with someone when you think maybe they could hurt you. Think about that. Is this blowing your mind yet? When I realized my own mindset was in direct like dissonance with this idea of like, oh, God's all in control of everything. So then why would I have choice? What am I doing here? Trying to decide what to do. And then I would live years being like, I just wish I knew what God's will for me was. I wish I knew what I was supposed to be doing. Anybody? Is blowing your socks off? Are you guys like, what are you talking about? I know when this really hit me as like, what? I was like, I gotta study this because believing that I have choice and believing that I can create goes against this idea, like that he already has stuff figured out and it's all in his control. It didn't make any sense. Am I the only one that has ever questioned this? Nobody's saying anything in the chat. Only one that's ever thought about this. These are the thoughts of the elevated mother. I think about this. I thought about this. I now know. I went to my scriptures and I said, okay, this is the word of God written down. It's been preserved for thousands of years among all other written works. God has somehow allowed this to remain in Genesis. In Genesis, chapter 1, God says, let us create man in our own image, male and female, and give them dominion. Right there, the very beginning of the Bible, he says, give them dominion over this earth experience. They are the ones that are going to have the experience here. The animals don't get dominion. The trees don't get dominion. We, God's created children, have dominion. He said that. So you can see that if we believe that he's all in control and we don't have choice, actually isn't biblical. So then you say, well, then how can God intervene in our lives? If he gives us dominion, then that would be like illegal for him to step in. This is your Christian lesson for the week. This is your Christian lesson for the week. Thank you for putting stuff in the chat, Latia and Vanessa. You guys are great. We're gonna get to the mindset stuff, Vanessa, I promise. But God said, I'll offer you the opportunity to make a covenant with me. You promise me something, I can intervene. And thereby he gave his people the law. Before Jesus came, there was the law. And he said, here's these 10 commandments. These are the things you're going to do. If you've studied your scriptures, you know that all of that stuff was a type or a shadow of Christ and what he would come to do in the meridian of time when it was time. And he said, if you live by this law, I have the opportunity then to intervene for you. And then Jesus came and fulfilled that law. And he said, now there's a higher way where it's dependent on your heart and what you're choosing and what you do. I have fulfilled this law. I've suffered and done all the stuff so that you now have an advocate directly with the Father. Should you choose this? Should you choose this? All of this is written in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, all of them. And so if we choose to take upon us the name of Christ and believe this, we can then make a covenant with God that says, I'm going to do this. And you said then I get your power in my life. And there we go. Okay. And Jesus, throughout his whole ministry, always was like, choose you this, choose this, choose that. Why would he use that word if we aren't agents unto ourselves? Right? So just understand that in the shoulds come from the outside of your life. They're out here in the circumstances of this world. And when you think, I should do this, I have to do this, I am supposed to do this, you have given away your power to whatever circumstance you are deciding has power over you in that moment. But I wanted to bring about that scriptural thing as Christians, because sometimes that's the sponsoring thought. In my coaching, I talk a lot about, we have these ideas we want to do, but there's a sponsoring thought that creates contrast sometimes in what we're doing. And so if you're like, I'm giving my power away, I'm a victim to the book fair, I have to be there at 4 o'clock, or I mean, what, I'm a victim to my family, I have to make tater tot casserole at 5 o'clock, even though I have a migraine. I have to show up at this church meeting. I have to show up at 5 o'clock at the soccer game. I should. I should read my scriptures for 43 minutes and 2 seconds every single day. What are you giving your power to? Like, or what? You know what I mean? Like, or what? But sometimes that sponsoring thought is like, or I won't go to heaven, or God will think something. And it's like, really explore those thoughts. Really explore those thoughts. Like, what will really happen if I don't do this thing? Is God going to like send a lightning bolt down and strike you down because you get a sub? Because you're 5 minutes late? What is going to happen here? So realize that the shoulds come from the outside. They come when we have given our power to something and we have thereby said, I am a victim to this. It is a victim mentality. And the sponsoring thought to so much victim mentality inside Christianity can be, not always, but can be, because we believed we were victims from the beginning. If we believe that God's all in control and we really don't have any say. So be aware of that. Be aware of it, that isn't true, but it is an idea that floats around. I see memes in Christian culture that promote that idea. Worth studying. Worth studying. So something I want to talk about is really in my journey of getting rid of the shoulds and the supposed tos and the have tos, I've learned to ask myself, and you can write this down. This isn't part of the 3-part process, but if this is helpful for you, please write it down. Really get real with yourself. Like, well, what will happen if I don't? What's the reality if I don't do this thing? Usually nothing. Usually nothing. If I don't show up to church right at this time, what? Are you thrown into the shark bin? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we work ourselves so up to identifying as someone that's on time because we've put so much identity there that if we don't, we've created within ourselves a nervous feeling like I'm too being thrown into the shark bin. Analyze this for yourselves. Really understand yourself. If I don't do this thing, what do I think will happen when you're sitting in your car going over the speed limit to try to get to your child's parent-teacher conference appointment on time? Is it worth the safety of the precious people in your car and all the other drivers on the road that you get there 30 seconds faster because you're going to run that red light? Because what? If you're not on time for the parent-teacher conference, what? It's amazing to me. Now that I'm out of this, I see it so clear. The intensity, the fear, the very real, like, I think I might die if I don't show up for this thing in this way at this, it's like, whoa. We've become so identified with circumstance that we become a victim to the very lives we've chose ourselves into. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy how we become victims to the very choices that we're trying to make in the fear of, I hope it's the right thing. I mean, what a crazy life. What a crazy life. Like we have to live on eggshells around here. Was that written? Is that what Jesus said? Okay, for the rest of your life, you're living on eggshells in fear. Guys, this is not the plan. That's not the plan. Like, literally, this is not the plan. Jesus preached peace, happiness, ease. Don't take care for tomorrow. Think about the lilies of the field. I got you. And yet we're running around like we're trying to prove we're worth being got. And it's just not true. It's just not true. So here's where sometimes it begins. Because our parents likely didn't understand a lot of this, because we are in the season of the world where a lot of light is being shed. What a beautiful time to be alive, by the way. Our parents, a lot of us, if you're like in this realm of having your Saturn return, of having your awakening of like, oh, I can choose things. Our parents, a lot of the times, thought, or your caregiver, whoever they were in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, like they thought it was their job to give you a guidance system. Jesus taught that we were all born with the light. We're born worthy. We're born loved. We don't have to prove anything. We're born with the light. We are born with our own internal guidance system. The world calls it intuition. People say it's your gut. Follow your gut. And what's interesting is when we're born into a situation where the caregiver says, oh, I know you're born with the light of Christ, but I'm just going to give you this guidance system anyway. They, in essence, are attempting to take over your agency. Why do they do that? Because it makes them comfortable. If my child eats the way that I do, I feel great about that. If my child believes the way that I do religiously, I feel good about this. This is comfortable for me. This is what I know. If my child is just as productive as I am, and we don't rest and we don't get on our phones, then I'm feeling good about this, right? That's comfortable for the parent. And so if you grew up in an environment where the parents believed they were doing you a service by giving you all their belief systems, you likely were given someone else's lifetime of beliefs and guidance when you were actually born with your own. Guys, your kids were born with their own. I know I'm throwing you in some deep water today, but this is so important. I could give you surface level. Oh, think of should this way, but guys, I'm going deep. I'm going deep today. I felt inspired. We're going to talk about that. I felt inspired to go a little deeper with you ladies today. That the people that get on this call today are meant to hear this deeper level of understanding. So I hope you're excited for it. I hope this is exciting stuff for you. I get really excited when I get to the deeper level of things. So you were born with your own internal guidance of things, and you were given a lot of beliefs that stemmed from fear, their own misunderstandings, and they just did their best. Our parents did their best. I fully believe that. I'm doing my best. But with this understanding, I have given my kids a lot of agency. Okay, Betsy, that's a cultural phrase that I could give them agency. That is so not true. But that was what I was raised in. It's deep in me. It comes out. I recognize the agency of my children, and I now leverage it for my benefit as a parent. I've done a class on that. It's called Leveraging the Agency of Your Kids. Search it up. It's in this group. Oh, you want me to speak slow? Well, Latia, you can always go back and watch the recording. That's why these are recorded live and streamed in here and not a one-time, you only get it if you come live. You can watch the recording and get what I have a mentor right now, and I watch all of her classes at least 3 times Because usually the first time I'm like blown away by some ideas. And so I miss little things. And the second time I pick up, the third time I really get more of the bigger picture. So if you need to do that, it's great. But our parents tried to give us stuff out of their safety. They were our first shoulds. You should make your bed. You should go to church. You should behave this way. You shouldn't cry about that. You shouldn't do this. Okay. So realize as a parent, if you're doing that to your kids, you're wanting to be safe. When we're triggered by our kids' experiences, it's because we're thinking they're having the same experience that we had. It's called a mirror trigger. So like you watch your kids say or do something and you're thinking, if that was me, I would feel this way. And we react that way. Instead of remembering that our child is their own person with their own internal guidance system, with their own agency, we might pause for a moment and just see what they'll do. I wonder what my child will do in this moment. Let's see. I mean, obviously, you guys, if they're about to like do something really dangerous, you're going to intervene and teach them about the danger, but it's not a should conversation, right? Help them see the mechanics of the world they live in, but it's not a should conversation. And so pondering sometimes and giving pause and watching your child not only allows them more room to grow in themselves and gain self-trust, which is another thing. If you're in EMX, you know this. One of the biggest things that the elevated mother experience will do for a woman is to help rebuild her self-trust, giving her dominion back over her life, with which God wanted her to have in the first place. And so as our children grow, allowing them to choose different is important. Allowing them the freedom to choose their path is important. Now we can say, the choice is up to you. I have some ideas if you'd like to hear them. The end. The end. We don't say more than that. And if they're like, yeah, Mom, I'd like to hear those options. Yeah, Mom, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Then I share my thoughts. But I'm careful to say, this was my experience. You will likely have a different experience, but this is what I know. But then the choice is still theirs. And we don't shame them for it. We don't get mad. Like, they might make choices that you're like, wow, that was really special. That's what I see in my mind. I'm like, that's what they're choosing to use their money on. That's what they're choosing to do on a Sunday morning instead of church. This is what they're choosing to wear to school. I do not dictate, like, as long as it's, in accordance with they're not going to be stoned in society or something, because that's important. But thank you for your vulnerability, Diane. She says, I need more self-trust. I will tell you, abdicating our power to our husbands, our church, our school district, our neighbor, our mom, our sister, our kids, it diminishes your self-trust. And I did that for years in my marriage, always asking my husband for permission. And he has let me know as I've become a more whole being and had better self-trust, he's like, that's actually annoying. And I don't think I'm the only husband that thinks it's annoying when their wife thinks they have to ask them for everything. Like, you didn't ask me before we were married. What did you do before? Like, I know you're a good decision maker. Come on, come back to me, So Amy says, what about really little kids and the things for personal hygiene when they wouldn't be able to stay at home alone if they want to go somewhere? I mean, you can establish your family culture. Like, I'm not sure the personal circumstance there on what your family culture wants to do. But ultimately, as much as possible for the safety of the child and that it works for me because I'm the mom, I say yes as much as possible to whatever they're trying to decide to do, like whatever age. So when we think we're in this victimhood, the first question that you want to ask if you feel like I should do this thing is to ask, okay, according to who? According to who? And that's what I asked my daughter. I was like, according to who do you have to do all of these things that God and the church and, like, according to who says you have to do this every single day this way with this many minutes and that this is the most appropriate thing? According to who? According to who is a great question to ask yourself in those moments when you feel like I have to do something. According to who? To God? Your mom? Grandma? Your husband? You are in control of you, and you're the only one that is. So according to who? Start establishing your self-trust and reclaiming your agency over your life. According to who do I have to do this thing in this way? Who knows the best thing for you? Who makes choices for you if you don't? God believes in you. God gave you the light. You have that internal guidance system. What does it say? How long has it been since you've trusted your intuition that that is the right answer, that that is going to bring you happiness? Right? You get full responsibility for your dreams, your experiences, nobody else. God has said throughout books of scripture, Old and New Testament, that his will is our happiness and delight. His will is our progression. And he gave us a choice. Like, you can choose to progress and listen and do these things that I have planned out, or you choose not to. You can do that. I just want to lay out to you what this might look like for you, though. And thereby is the scriptures. Thereby is Jesus's parables. Jesus came and taught during his ministry this idea that you always have a choice, but it's kind of like it's either Jesus and covenants and having God's power and awesomeness or not. And you're kind of on your own. That's a bummer. Like, but people do it. And it doesn't make them wrong, which is really important. It doesn't make them wrong. And this way isn't right. It is a choice of what you want to experience. And there are literally people that do not want to experience this. They're not wrong. It's just what they're choosing to do. It's a different way. Wickedness, directly translated from the Hebrew characters and the ancient Greek characters, is to choose another way. Wickedness is not wrong. It is not bad in the scriptures. It is they chose a different way. Let that sink into you. When you read scriptures like that, if we've read it as wrong and bad, we've had a fear connotation and a self-judgment and a shame. But when we read it as they chose a different way to live, you're like, oh, it's like that person has hardwood floors and I have carpet. So does that make me wrong and someone else is right? You know what I mean? Like, when we try to make things wrong and right, oh man, don't even go into that wormhole. Right? So that's the first step of this process of getting rid of the shoulds, is to really get clear on according to who. According to who am I making this decision? Am I feeling these feelings? Because I'm choosing into it. I'm the only one here. Can I choose to just drop the fear and angst and just be 3 minutes past the time on my parent-teacher conference meeting and just arrive in a calm, collected manner? Can I just choose that I'm going to get to church a little late at the end? No one's thinking anything. They're all worried about themselves. Trust me on that. Like, once we start owning it, and it's like all the shoulds you realized are fear-based. They're worthiness, hustle-based, like lack of worthiness. They're A should asks us to be a victim. Interesting, right? So, the second step is then to get clear on what you want, where you're going, why you do things. Take God as your partner, covenant with him. Some churches, they ask you to be baptized as a symbolic covenant moment where you're choosing this, right? Get clear on what you want, where you're going, why you do things. Take God as your partner. He is the unconditional support. Unconditional. God is not conditional in his love. If you're late, if you study your scriptures for 1 minute versus 6 versus 12 versus an hour, God does not care. He is unconditional in his love and his desire for your happiness, always. Unconditional. It's your choice. He's like, yay, if you choose this thing, awesome, right? But his love is there, even for those that chose another way. I'm sure God's a little like, oh, that's a bummer, but I still love them. Just like when our kid chooses to go in the mud when we ask them not to. Well, that's a bummer, but I still love them. You see how this works? So that's the second step. Get clear. Get clear on what you want. And if you're like, you know what, I don't even know if I've ever been clear on what I wanted because I have been trying to fit into a glove of worthiness for my parents and my church leader and my grandma and my culture for my whole life. I don't even know what I really want personally because I have been trying to check these boxes my whole life. My friend, this is your personal invitation to come into the Elevated Mother experience. You will learn who you are. You will learn what you want. And maybe for the first time, you will be in an environment of women that see you unconditional. And they will just love every step that you take toward you. The literal definition, translation of repentance is a return home, a return to the light, a return to yourself. Welcome to the gospel. Welcome to the awesome good news, right? So then step 3, once you know, number 1, like, okay, who's taking action here? Oh yeah, it's me. Number 2, what do I want? Where am I going? How does this fit? Am I in alignment? Then step 3 is take inspired action only. Take inspired action only. Who cares if some general church group is reading their scriptures an hour a day? If you feel aligned to read 6 minutes, that's for you and your inspired action. That is what you do. If you're like, you know what, my kid is good. They don't have any issues going to school. I'm going to cancel the parent-teacher conference. Cancel it. It's not, oh, but they should see me and that's a bad parent. Guys, if you're inspired because you know and you're in you and you are with God, you can drop all the shoulds and you take inspired action only. You might be doing things different than everyone else in your church group. You might be doing parenting different than anyone else in your family. But if you feel inspired, that's the action that you take. And when I told my college student that, I said, just take inspired action only. She was like, oh, Mom, that feels so good. Mom, that feels so good to me. And I was like, right? Right? This is you claiming your agency, claiming the dominion that God has given you. So if you ever feel like you're back in victim stance, that you're back on like filling the shoulds, ask yourself, what within me believes I'm a victim to this circumstance that I have to make this choice? What within me says this is the right form of thought? Journal on that and you will get some incredible answers. But at the end of the day, the shoulds are a red flag that you are giving your power away. When clients come into the EMX and they start, well, I should have done that. I'm like, oh, friend. Hello, judgment. Hello, self-shame. Like, no. Let's not give our power to the alarm clock. Let's not give our power to the school or your job. Let's take it back. knowing what you want, knowing what you're doing. If you're like, I want to be a diligent worker and make this promotion, then yeah, you're going to get up and go to work and you're going to be on time. But it's not because you have to, it's because you want to. And that feels good. That is inspired action. Ladies, that's all I have for you today. Watch it again. Search these things up in scripture. But overall, look what I have on my thing. I have post-it notes. My team knows this. Trust my intuition. It carries the truth. And I have that right here. Every day I sit in this seat and teach and coach and all the things. Trusting myself has been the best thing I ever learned to do. And everything I taught in this class is so paramount to living that peaceful life that God talks about. He said, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, but as I give it to you, right? It's his way, is personal choice and accountability. So you guys are awesome. I love all of you. If you came to this class, it was for a reason, and I'm happy that you're here. I would love for you to consider the Elevated Mother experience. If you're like, yes, I want this to be my life, you can drop EMX in the chat and one of our elevation specialists will reach out to you. We would love to have you in there. Have an awesome weekend, and we will see you on the next class, which will be for a few weeks because we're doing our retreat. So we'll see you guys.